Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back, and today I have the review. And I mean, not really review. My thoughts on the Mule. Okay, so, and I don't like to put all these kinds of videos or stuff up of the trailer, but I should do that, and I will do that some other time. Some other time I'll take it really good. I mean, when I start doing better reviews next year, in 2019, I will be pushing it. So this video is coming out now. So next year you'll have better videos in 2019. But the problem is that I'm just gonna say this really quick is that I'm going to get screwed up if my video gets kind of not demonetized because I'm not getting money off of this. I'm saying it might be taken off or blocked because of supposedly content that is stolen, which is not. Okay, so let's get on. And today we're talking about the Mule. And the main character here is Clint Eastwood. So, what is my thoughts on this movie? My thoughts on this movie is that Clint Eastwood has a lot of money, but I don't know how, for some reason, he doesn't have a family. I mean, he does have a family, but he never visits them, so he doesn't really care. So, in this movie, the message here is that Clint Eastwood, he's rich, he has his own house, he loves to I guess you can say that he's living a good life, and like always, like every single movie that you guys seen, he always has a pickup truck that's very old. Like, I think, like, I'm not going to say a year because then it's gonna be like, what's wrong with you? So that's just my thought, that he's living a good life in the beginning of the movie, but then after, I think he gambles or something. I think he gambles away his money, or for some weird reason, he somehow kind of gives it all away. He loses it, I think, through a investment or something that goes wrong. And then at the same time, he goes to he doesn't care for his family. He doesn't care for the wife. I guess it's his wife, or it's not his wife. He doesn't care for his daughter, because at that time that he's having a good time, having the rich life, he doesn't care about his family at the moment, because he's like, I have everything. I don't care about anybody. I care more about my plants and having them grow up to be big tulips, being huge. And in this movie, he starts losing all his money, and when he is down to zero, and I think having a foreclosure, foreclosure or something like that. I think his house is being repossessed or something. But what goes on is that he goes to his daughter's party, where because Clint Eastwood doesn't even go to the party of his daughter when she's getting married. He's not there for anything, but he goes there to his wife's house, or his woman's house, or ex, or whatever it is. I'm not sure. I'm going to say his wife. So when he goes to her house, he decides to visit and say, look, I'm sorry for everything I've done or something, and I'm here to celebrate my granddaughter's birthday, her 15. And when he does that, the problem is that no one wants to see him. No one. But he still says, I want to be here. Even his granddaughter says, I want my grandpa here. I need him. He's my grandpa. He's part of the family. I can't run him away. Until some reason the grandpa starts going crazy because he has nothing to live for anymore. He has nothing. He's zero. It's like, but I think in this movie, Clint Eastwood plays a character that's like 80 to 90 years old. I'm not really sure. I'm just giving you an estimation so you guys won't be saying, oh, he's wrong. I'm just giving you an estimation. I'm not so sure. But when he plays this character, he meets up with, I think, the granddaughter's boyfriend or a friend that's at the party. And he says, you could do work for my people. You go to this you go to this tire shop or to this mechanic shop, go inside with your truck, and they'll give you work. And Clint Eastwood just doesn't feel like it. He doesn't feel like doing this kind of thing, but in the end, he ends up going to the shop, to the mechanic shop or to the tire shop or whatever you guys want to say. He goes to the shop and he says, "I'm ready for the job." And these guys that look like cholos or thugs or gangsters, not gangsters, but like gangbangers, because gangsters, I would say someone that is in the high, rich life that is still thugging out, still gangsters, because when you think of gangsters, you think of rich people stealing from poor people and stealing from everyone else. So I would say those are gangsters, not cholos and thugs that don't have money but they're still stealing to try to make some money. So I consider gangsters to be higher, to be like the rich guys that steal. So we're going to get on with this story of Clint Eastwood doing this job. He's like, okay, I'm gonna do whatever you guys want me to do, and I'll get paid. So these cholos or gangsters or whatever, or they put drugs into his trunk, and he doesn't know that. He just says, "I'm transporting something good to this motel, and then I just leave the truck there by itself for an hour and come back, and I will have my money." So he loves it. That he makes, maybe, let's say he makes $1,000 the first run. Then the second run he goes again. Wow. He makes $2,000, or maybe he makes the third run and gets like $5,000. Sixth run, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, whatever. Then after he has the good life, he has all the money he needs, or all the money that he desires, and he says, "I quit. I don't want to do this anymore because I don't want this life anymore. I already have the money." But after, like, for some weird reason, I feel like this dude, Clint Eastwood, decides, "I want to do this again. I want to do this because I want to be able to." That's just me. I'm like, he feels like he's addicted to doing these things again. But in some other runs, he finds out that he's transporting drugs in his trunk. So he does it. He continues to do it. Then after, he's like, in the end, he's like, "I really quit. I quit this time. I quit." But then these guys that come from Mexico, I consider them like the Mexican mafia, or like, I guess like the Mexican mafia or something. And then they come to the United States and they say, "Old man, oh," he comes back to do his last run, because like, "This is the last time I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna quit after this one." And when he comes to the shop, these cholos or mafia members from Mexico, or the cartel, I guess the cartel come and they say, "Look, sir, you are going to deliver this to this place, and you're not going to mistake anything. You're going to send it to this place, to this warehouse. Deliver the dope, or deliver these drugs, and if you don't do it, we're going to you." And that's the reason I'm doing it, because I don't want it to be like, "We're going to get you, we're going to take you out of this world. Pow, 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 pow." Whatever. And I feel like that is something that happens when you go into drugs. I feel like the more drugs that you do, the more they're going to say, "You're not escaping until we go and end your life." And that's something that I don't really ever want to do. I don't ever want to live that life ever. I'm just the type of guy that just is the good guy, the innocent, not 100% innocent, but more innocent than everyone else. But I'm not the type of guy to ever do drugs and transport drugs and be the next cartel and be the next mafia, be the next El Chapo and whatever. So this guy goes so this Clint Eastwood takes his own route to the location, and the guys that follow him, which are the mafia, that says, "You are going to take the drugs here. Don't go a different route, because if we do, we're gonna have to end your life." And he has to he has to continue he has to continue to transport the drugs because the mafia's checking on him. And he does it and he still makes the money. And the guy says, "Yes, you're doing good. We love what you do." They even invite him to, I think he's invited to Mexico, and he ends up being with beautiful women. They get all topless for him. They want to have coochie with him. And after that, even the big dude, the so-called the so-called top guy, ends up telling Clint Eastwood, "I love you. You're doing good. You can go back to the U.S. and you could be the good guy and continue to do the drug runs." And for some reason, when he gets back to the U.S., he ends up saying, "I quit. I'm turning off my phone that was given to me," because his phone, they used to give him phones every single time. And he turned off the phone and said, "No more. I'm not doing this drug run." And at the same time, the police were already after him because they said, "There's a drug surge in this area. There's a drug surge between blah, blah, blah to this day." And Clint Eastwood just says, "I'm quitting. I want to visit my wife." And at the same time, his wife is dying. I don't know, she's almost dying. She's on the deathbed. And Clint Eastwood just stays there taking care of his woman. Then she dies. Then they have a funeral. And he says he wants a better life for himself, and he wants to be there for his children, his grandchildren, for everybody. And and everybody forgives him and says everything's going to be good. And after that, he just goes back to a coffee place, a coffee shop, to drink coffee. And the police is there and says, "How you doing, sir? Are you the one in the motel? Good for you." And they explain everything. And when he gets back to his truck, he's almost getting hurt. He's getting beaten up and everything. And says, "We can take your life right now if we feel like it." And they kind of beat him up and everything. And after, even the police, the FBI, or everybody is after Clint Eastwood, saying, "He's in this truck. He's in this truck. Chase him." And when they find him, they chase him all the way to his death. Oh no, they take him almost to when they almost they continue to take him. They chase him, but there's nowhere to run because they have him blocked at every place. And they say, "I thought you were the nice guy. Weren't you the nice guy? I thought you said..." Because the guy that gets him is the same one that was in the coffee shop. And says, "Well, that's how it was." So for me, I would have to say that this movie was not incredible, but it kind of feels like it was good though, because it kind of feels like there's people that do drugs, and then after they start before they do drugs, they start selling the drugs, then they start doing the drugs, but Clint Eastwood didn't, so that's the difference. But they still, like I said, they start doing the drugs and they go, "Okay, let's do this." Start selling. And after they sell the drugs like 2, 3, 4 times, and there's people that come after them and say, "You still have to continue to sell my drugs. If not, I'm putting this weapon on your forehead," and going blam. And the reason I go blam is because I don't want to directly say the word, because then people are gonna start going block him, block him, block his video, block it. That's the reason I'm talking like that. So that's kind of a story that kind of does happen. That you start off small, then you could start growing and growing exponentially, and you could become the biggest drug dealer, and the mule and everything, transport this, and there's no end. And there's times where they could go blam and you're gone from this world. So I kind of understand the story from beginning to end, that you could be the richest guy and you could end up losing your company or losing the best thing that you have, and you become this person that has nothing, that wants to make some money again to live a good life. And when that happens, that's just the way it is. It doesn't end up being good ever. So Clint Eastwood just decides. So for the end of the movie, Clint Eastwood just decides, I need to pay the price for everything I've done. I was a bad person and just end up in jail. But I don't know if he ends up in jail for the rest of his life, or he has a reduced sentence so he could get out in a certain amount of time. But that's just me. Like, wow, this movie was true, because it kind of said, I don't know if it said it was based on a true story, but that's how I thought this movie was. It was great. There's nothing wrong to say about this movie. There's nothing I can say wrong. I just felt that this movie was great. It had everything going from beginning to end, like that, doom, 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 doom. But it's not something that I'm going to say was the best movie. There's nothing else out there that can top this movie. Yes, there's other movies that probably are better than this that are coming out next year in 2019. So when 2019 arrives, you will get to see more videos of me, my movie reviews or thoughts or whatever, but they will be more high quality. So I would say this movie was good. If you guys haven't seen it this year, wait for it to come out on DVD, or if it's not in theaters, by the time you watch this video, if it's not in theaters, then just go down, buy it and watch it and give your own opinion. Because sometimes my opinions don't matter, because I could say something good about a movie and somebody else could say, oh, how can you like that movie? It was this bad. Because I gave my own review of Venom I don't know when the movie came out, but I did that review and everybody thought it was bad. But I like to give the positive side of each movie. And there's times where there are movies that people want to give positive thoughts, and I end up giving negative thoughts. But I still keep their comments into consideration, saying, look, I will do this. So thank you guys for watching. And as always, you'll get another movie review later on or something. And that will be it. So thank you and have a wonderful day.